of Backlash, man. WWE presented Backlash live from Puerto Rico this past Saturday. And according to the reviews, the event did not disappoint. But I kind of wanted to know what were your impressions, some of the highlights of the night pertaining to Backlash 2023.
Oh, sure, sure. Honestly, if I had to rate the show out of like a 10, it was like an 8 out of 10 show for me.
Hmm.
A lot of the matches hit for me. I would just would have like deducted two. I didn't feel like the triple threat was necessary, even though it wasn't a
Mm.
bad match. It just wasn't necessary for me. But as you said in the last podcast, the whole objective was probably to showcase Bronson Breed. And the other one I would have deleted was Omos versus Seth Rollins, not because it was a terrible match, but it just to me like the show was on a good just like high, especially with that opener, which we got to get into that. There's
Hmm.
been a lot of controversy about that opener match and the reaction. But if you delete those two matches and you would have moved Bad Bunny to the end, it would have been a perfect pay per view. But those two
Mm.
matches and the placement where they put Bad Bunny like being not even second to last, but like third to last, that to me was just weird. That was
Mm.
weird. But matches were pretty good. Great opener with Sasha and not Sasha, what the fuck, Bianca and Io Sky.
Wrong promotion.
Right? Word. Like, what am I doing? Like, it's been that long since I watched wrestling, y'all, that I literally. By the way, for someone that actually came back and to watch this pay per view, it was just like a nice way to like dip my toes in. But yeah, Io Sky versus Bianca. Honestly, great opener. It had like the Puerto Ricans Puerto Rican. To be honest, like to be nah, because when it came to Bianca and Io Sky, I was watching it, but I'm not sure if Io Sky was just so happy to be in Puerto Rico. But she was moving like a baby face. Like she was smiling a lot. Normally, if you're playing the heel character, you gotta like do more heel like actions, omit some of the baby face moves and the aerial stuff to a degree. But she was smiling a lot, and like the Puerto Ricans loved her, bro. Like they loved her to the point where they was boom Bianca. And that was a whole debacle after where everyone was like saying Puerto Rico's racist towards Bianca. Listen, bro, as someone that is half Puerto Rican, when I was watching, I felt like Io Sky was the baby face. Just because
Mm.
she was smiling through everything up until she remembered when Bailey and Dakota Kai came out that, oh crap, I'm the heel. I should be doing heel like things. That's when she kind of switched it. But the entire time, it felt like almost Io Sky was the underdog in the match.
Right.
It was a great match, great performance. They had very good chemistry with one another, but I expect that because they worked with one another in NXT before. But great match. I love the energy. Did you get to watch it? I couldn't
I
remember.
did. I did.
You
I did
did. I
watch it.
want to hear what was your take on that match.
So the funniest part about it was, so at first, because I heard the whole online debacle,
Yeah.
it wasn't a matter of the PR crowd being racist. Io Sky before WWE was very very big on the indies in PR in Puerto Rico,
That
and
part.
so because of that, I feel like because even when you listen to if you watch the match, even the beginning, they were cheering Bianca coming out. So they were happy to see her, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was just the fact that Io has so much history in Puerto Rico. And I honestly think that that was something that we have to give credit. I feel like that was a Triple H move because he knows his wrestling. He knows the certain sweet spots and where certain people are going to thrive. And I feel like he was conscious of Io's history in Puerto Rico. And because of that, he was just like, we're going to make this the opening match.
Yeah.
And I feel like the fact that, you know, yes, Io was kind of the baby face
Mm-hmm.
in that match, but it's the fact that Bianca and Io adapted on the fly. Like they didn't try
Mm.
to like downplay it or make it seem like no, Bianca's still the face. Like it gave somebody said this online, it gave John Cena at ECW one night stand.
Not as
Probably a
bad.
lot, not as bad. Not as whew, because Jesus. They were lighting John up at one night
They
stand.
threw
But
chairs at this man. Like you were
yo,
so mad someone
they
threw a
threw
chair
I
at
remember
you.
one I remember there was one time he threw his shirt in the crowd and somebody threw it back. I was like, oh my God, that's so bad. But
Crazy.
I don't think that was a PR being racist thing. I don't think that was the case at all. I
No,
just think
that's not what
that
I got.
EO had history there. It's like it's the same thing if like if Gunter were to do a match for the Intercontinental title in Germany. And
Yeah.
and like he's had a storied history there. So I feel like if he were to do a match there, it would be a little bit different as far as his reception, even though he's the projected dominant heel.
That
He would be
part.
kind of seen as the baby face because the people there love him. But that was my take on that match. But I agree with you in the sense that it was a really, really good opener.
The
Both of them
perfect
are very
opener.
athletic. So yeah.
Yeah. The next match that I have to. Zelina versus Rhea Ripley. Oh my god, can we talk about that opener with the ring gear? Just the entrance with the ring gear and the hair and the flag and just like I was like whip the entire time. I was so happy. She was so emotional. Like obviously she knew the booking decision was going to be the booking decision, but she was just so happy to be there. Her family was there. She was just so happy to represent. And she actually had a ring gear on the indies that was like an all Puerto Rican gear. So it was just like
Yeah.
just a more advanced version of it. And I mean, again, like she's from New York as well. If I'm not mistaken, she's from
She's from
Queens.
Queens. She's from
Yeah,
Queens.
and like just the emotion on her face, just this reminded me just the amount of emotion that Bianca and Sasha had with each other for their match. Like that's how happy and invested she was to be part of this. I don't think Zelina Vega gets enough credit. I personally don't take her that seriously as an in ring competitor, but I love all her contributions to wrestling, especially the WWE, with her being a manager, being such a great this mouthpiece, just to the point where like her presence is so powerful, her look is so powerful, her presentation, the way she carries herself, as little as she is so big and powerful that she like elevates everyone around her. Very similar
Yes.
to Melina did for Eminem, and anyone else that she
Mm.
worked with. So I was really happy for her. I know that it made her family smile, everyone else smile. I'm proud that, maybe she's not in a title picture or main eventing, but like all her smaller roles is massive. Big W for her, big W for Puerto Rico. It was so welcoming too. Like even when she lost, like she still stole the show. Like they
Hmm.
let her have that space with the crowd to really take it in. That like, wow, like I'm really representing. Like I am the representation, quite literally. Despite the fact we had Damian Priest and Bad Bunny there, like she really was like the main person I think we kind of focused on for like representing Puerto Rico. So I love that for her. Any takeaways you have from the match or from her look?
So I think the look, the entrance obviously was great. Obviously, that ending shot from that match of just like the crowd chanting Olay while she was walking back and smiling. It reminds you that pro wrestling is about moments. And sometimes we get so caught up in who has the belt and who has the long reign that you forget that
Yeah.
it's about these moments. I feel like even though Rhea won the match, Zelina won the moment. And I feel like as there's been so many things that have happened to Selena Vega over the past couple of years that things have just not gone her way, from her, her exodus from WWE for a little bit to her being scheduled for the 9/11 show and then cutting her match.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, they had remember the 9/11 show in MSG. Her father passed away unfortunately in not during 9/11, and she had her match cut. So
And she
yeah,
dedicated this match.
and that she dedicated this match. So like
Yeah.
all of those things that kind of led up to this moment made that moment special. Would I have loved to see Zelina win? Absolutely, because I love Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega is a kingmaker who is royalty herself, in the sense that I personally think that she's the total package. Like, she has a great look. She is a really good in ring. She can wrestle, you know what I mean? And she also can talk on the mic. And so, would it be great for her to win? Absolutely. But just the fact that she was able to have that moment, I think was just very, very significant and important.
Hmm.
And I love the fact that she had that moment. And I love the fact that, all once again, I remember saying this a couple podcasts ago, like when they reformed the LWO, they did it right in time, because just her being, I think, one of the first women in the LWO, whether it was the OG version or the new version, and then to wrestle a match under that LWO banner in Puerto Rico for the SmackDown Women's Championship with someone who, I assume she has really, really good chemistry and camaraderie with, and Rhea Ripley. I think that was a very, very special moment for her. So I love the match. You know what I mean? I think it was great. It was very, very entertaining and engaging. And I'm glad that Zelina Vega had her moment. So that was like my take on that. So
Love that. Love that. The next match on my list, I mean, of course, we have to talk about Bad Bunny.
Yes.
Bad Bunny had the whole room shaking. Honestly, the this is such a small moment that popped me, but them pulling out the chancleta. I don't know
Yes.
why that popped me so much because for some reason I was expecting since it was Puerto Rico there was gonna be extra Puerto Rican about it and probably bring
Yeah.
out a wooden spoon and a hanger. I don't know why, but that's what I was expecting. I was watching the match,
She
but he
said
got really
San Juan
excited with
Street
that.
Fight.
Yeah,
She said,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was expecting all that, and whatchamacallit, he got really excited with that kendo stick. Honestly, there was not a single dull moment in the match. Bad Bunny showed the fuck out as per usual. I love, like I said many times before, that he takes all this so seriously. Like you can tell, like he wants to be there. You know what I mean? That if he probably could donate more time to being here, he would be here. You know.
right.
But like I said, like he came out and I damn near thought he was gonna make it a concert and perform. Like Puerto Rico was loving it, loving it, loving it, and I love how at the end, just to like throw in some more flavor and fun, they started bringing in some surprises. The one that popped me the most, of course, is Carlito because I loved him as a kid. All right,
Mm-hmm.
that's my cousin. I don't care what anyone says. That's my cousin. But I love the match. I thought that with the way they celebrated at the end, like, and just again how like the arena was just like eating it up. I just thought that that should have been the ending, and I understand that you want to like stay on topic with whatever is going to carry on to like Raw, and
Mm.
put like Brock and Cody there, but just to me, I just thought for the sake of having Puerto Rico, for like the first time in 17 years, I felt like it would have been such a wholesome moment if they would have ended it with Bad
Mm.
Bunny, and I don't understand why they lined it up that way. Do you? I don't know. Do you have like a
I
different take on it?
I personally, I agree with you. I don't know why they ended with. I don't know why they didn't end with the Bad Bunny Damian Priest match, because here we have two guys, from Puerto Rico, of Puerto Rican lineage, having a match of high stakes, both
Mm-hmm.
representing the two arguably hottest factions in WWE. Damian Priest representing the Judgment Day,
Mm-hmm.
Bad Bunny representing LWO.
Yeah,
Um, it was main event material, and
it
I
was.
think that WWE missed the mark on that. Um, it it's so interesting. I have a couple of numbers here because the return that popped you in Carlito did pop me as well, but the return that popped me was Savio Vega, and I think that having him give Bad Bunny the kendo stick with Rey Mysterio by his side, I think that it was very, very, and the entire segment, and I love that. I love the fact that that entire segment was in Spanish, because that's how you do diversity. It's not accommodating or not trying to accommodate other groups of people based on what they can or cannot access. And I
Mm-hmm.
just love the fact that they had, Savio Vega there giving that kendo stick that Bad Bunny eventually popped out, that Bad Bunny eventually brought out with him to his match. Now let's talk about this entrance before I talk about the match. Respect the fact that I think that that was one of the best entrances in the history of WWE.
Really.
I think that that was one of the best entrances in wrestling, period. If we're going to sit up here and we're going to call Chris Jericho's Judas entrance one of the best, which it is because of everybody singing his lyrics,
Mm.
then we need to do the same for Bad Bunny, because that entire arena was singing word for word as he was going into the arena. And that scene with the drone shot, like,
That
that
was
was
fire. It
crazy.
was
That was
fire.
crazy.
Feel like a
Um,
legend
but
already.
that was
But
legendary. And like, and Bad Bunny's kind of like contact. This is a man, and I need people to put, because I don't know if the wrestling mainstream audience is familiar with Bad Bunny. Respect the fact that this man did the Met Gala,
mm-hmm.
Coachella, and
Mm-hmm.
Backlash within the course of a week and a half. So to be in performing shape at one of the biggest music festivals in the world, and then be in wrestling shape for arguably the biggest wrestling match of his career in his home country of Puerto Rico, we need to tip our hats off to Bad Bunny, because it shows that he does take this a lot more seriously. Now, the match was great. I love the different spots. I love the celebration at the end. I love Carlito's return. Um, but I'm not going to contradict anything that you said, but I just kind of want to add to it because while we're on the topic of Bad Bunny, I think that we have to read off some of the numbers pertaining to Bad Bunny. Because when Bad Bunny first debuted in WWE, what did we hear? What's a Bad Bunny? Who's a Bad Bunny? Da, 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 da. We don't want to Bad Bunny. That when Samantha Irvin said that Bad Bunny is the most streamed artist in the world, that's not like a gimmick. That's not like that's reality. He is
Mhm.
the most streamed artist in the world. Period. End of sentence. But if we can take a look at the numbers that he's done for WWE, this was the highest grossing and most viewed Backlash in WWE history. 17,000 attendees at Backlash, 16.7 thousand attendees at SmackDown. Most social Backlash of all time. Damian Priest and Bad Bunny had 40 million video views. Carlito's Return had 8.2 million video views. That was pertaining directly to the Damian Priest Bad Bunny match. So if we're counting
Wow.
both of those, that's about 50 million views on both of those pieces of content. It broke merchandise records for Backlash. And as of Tuesday, May 9th, Bad Bunny and LWO merchandise accounts for 9 out of the 10 top selling t-shirts on WWEshop.com.
Wow, that's
Bad Bunny
crazy.
isn't Bad Bunny isn't one of the top 10. He is the top 10. The only other person that was outside of the LWO spectrum that had a top 10 selling t-shirt this past week was Seth Rollins. So it goes to show you, oh, and there's more.
And
Sponsorship
there's
revenue was up by 98%. Viewership was up by 28%. And
mm.
all of this information is available on corporate.wwe.com if you want to check out the press release.
Mm.
But when we're talking about a draw, when we're talking about a needle mover, we have to acknowledge Bad Bunny as a draw and as a needle mover. I think he's the second biggest draw in WWE, and right over him is Roman Reigns. Matter of fact, I'll put him and Roman Reigns on the same level
Yeah, I was
as
about to
far as their
say.
ability to draw because of
Mm-hmm.
just Bad Bunny's mainstream and crossover power and him being able to bring over his audience to WWE. So
Yeah.
we have to I just had to get that off about that Bad Bunny Damian Priest match. I think it was a great match. It was a great story. And I think it was a fantastic ending. I just think that should have been the main event, and they missed the
I
opportunity there.
agree. I 100% agree. The only other match that I actually liked about, I mean, of course, we have to discuss the ending. I'm gonna skip straight to like
Mm-hmm.
the argument of the night. The ending to Brock and Cody. I actually
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed the match, and I ended up being in the minority. I was in the
Right.
minority of people that it was fine with the ending. Reason
Mm-hmm.
why I was fine with the ending was because Brock is a beast, but Cody can't afford to lose.
Mm.
So I don't normally agree with roll ups because they're very cheap. However, Cody is supposed to be built to be like an underdog,
Mm-hmm.
and like they're still making Brock still look, strong as shit, by having him beat the shit out of Cody, but Cody tried to, make the comeback and stuff like that. And we thought for a moment Brock had it. The only way that you could try to defeat someone that's bigger and stronger than you is to try to outsmart them. So was it a very cheap victory? Yes, it was a very cheap victory. I wouldn't recommend it for every time they fight one another, but you knew that this feud was going to continue. Like
Yeah.
you knew that it wasn't going to stop at that. So I don't think a clean win would have helped either party because Brock shouldn't look weak and Cody can't lose after losing at Mania. Like that's just
Right.
we can't do that. Now we have to rebuild him up and rebuild that story arc so when he does win, it's more powerful because if he already lost and he lost again, we're just gonna look at Cody as just a lost cause or a loser. Because you know how wrestling fans are. Y'all make your minds up very fast. So I was actually in the minority that was perfectly fine with the ending and thought that that was fine. My only issue is that the placement. That should have been something that like maybe you put it like second to last and then follow up with Bad Bunny because you would have been annoyed until you thought about it later on. But
Right.
then Bad Bunny would have came in and saved the day with everyone else, like Carlito and all that stuff. So that was just my personal opinion. But I want to hear your take on the finish between Brock and Cody.
I actually 100% agree with you. The moment that I saw Brock busted up, and the moment that I saw that roll up, I knew that that feud was going to continue. And so
Yeah.
because of that, and it's ironic because the same way that kind of Cody kind of pulled off the victory against Brock is the same way that Brock pulled off the victory against Omos at WrestleMania. So I think that it's like kind of like a role reversal type of situation. I also just think that like you said, Brock is a beast. Cody is a lovable babyface. You want to keep Brock strong, while keeping Cody the underdog and having him win in an unexpected way. And I think that they did that the right way.
Mhm.
Especially because Cody went into that triple threat the next night on Raw, and Brock cost him the match. And it's like, if Brock loses, you're not going. If Brock loses clean, is he going to be a believable beast? No, you're not. Like if Brock were to lose clean in the middle of the ring, that would have been the end of the feud, and there's nothing to progress towards. There's nothing left for kind of Cody to conquer in that story. Whereas if it's
Mhm.
a roll up, it's like it's a cheap victory. I'll come back, or Brock is going to come back and try to get his lick back, and then that's going to lead to a bigger match with bigger stakes. It extends that. It kind of buys Cody time as the bloodline story is still developing, which the whole spike, or the him Solo about to hit the spike, very interesting development.
Yeah, the
Um,
way Brock came back, like just being this like psychotic and evil, just saying like, "How dare you do that to me? How dare you outsmart me?" Basically, type of shit,
right,
and just bullying the shit out of Cody to the point we felt bad for him. That's why we needed that. Like
right,
that's why, because Brock still, to some people, like they still haven't like shooken off how likable he is as a babyface since he's been more
yeah,
talkative and stuff like that. So we needed something to force that shift, and what else than to, have Cody like sneak win and then make him for real snap and go into full heel mode.
there it
So
is.
that's what I thought of it. Anything else you'd like to add?
Um, I'm trying to fake. I think there are a couple of notes because I definitely that's why I was scrolling because I took notes on Backlash,
I think
and
we missed one
I
match that was likable.
I don't think it was a matter of missing matches. I think we covered everything important, but I do think
Mm-hmm.
that there's two things. Number one, we can see that WWE is doing things that are a little bit edgier this
Mm-hmm.
time around. And it's in the little things though. Bad Bunny coming back to SmackDown in Puerto Rico with the WWF scratch logo jacket on. Um, that was a sense of edge, right? Even down
Mm-hmm.
to the partnership with Mike's Hard Lemonade. I can't remember the last time that WWE had a alcohol sponsor. So
Oh
seeing
yeah, you're
that,
right.
I seen that, I was like, okay, I see the vision. So that's one.
Mm-hmm.
Two, we have to give a ton of credit to Nick Khan and Triple H for leading the charge on these international premium live events. Because I was thinking about it, they haven't missed. They haven't missed Clash at the Castle in the UK, Elimination Chamber in Montreal, and now we have Backlash in Puerto Rico. And now it was so successful that now talents want Puerto Rico to be the primary spot for Backlash. And this crowd was hot. All these
Mm-hmm.
international crowds have been hot. All these international crowds have been really, really good. And I think that it's because of Nick Khan and Triple
Yeah.
H that they are able to kind of and explore this avenue and flourish and be successful because international events international having multiple international events within the course of a year was not something that we had expected from WWE 2 to 3 years ago. I mean, there were the Saudi shows, maybe I think there was like a Australia show, but like other than that, it wasn't territory that was heavily explored in comparison to their premium live events that were happening in the States. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that I just wanted to highlight that. But you know, I think that kind of concludes kind of like our little dive into this. So we want to know what everybody else thinks about Backlash this year. Um, Let us know in the comments below. But we're gonna move on to our next topic.